All right, so it is 2024 and most of the companies are struggling with growth except a few, and Chameleon is one such. They have grown from zero to almost 1,000 customers really fast. Jay, who leads it, he wrote a few playbooks in LinkedIn, how they're doing it. And we wanted to know what are they doing differently. So today we are going to break down one such playbook and how Jay actually thinks about it. Okay. So if you're leading a demand gen or growth in B2B company and want to grow really fast with a modest size team, this episode is for you.
Jay, last time we spoke, you shared a great playbook about person level website visitor identification and how sales is using that in their outreach and their personalized outreach, and if I remember correctly, 4xing their reply rate and meeting books. So I was curious to understand another playbook that you mentioned separately about job change alerts. What is that about?
Absolutely. I think job changes are another really interesting signal to leverage for outreach. If you look at deals closed or opportunities created, a new decision maker or a new champion coming into a role is often a catalyst to that evaluation starting or that deal materializing. I'm coming into a new company as head of product. They're giving me certain objectives. I want you to increase our new user activation. I want you to increase our cross product adoption and drive more upsells. I want you to increase retention, or I want you to increase the average customer value of our users. So reaching out to that new decision maker and positioning Chameleon as, I guess, a partner to them reaching their objectives, it has been yielding very good results. And I can talk about some other plays that we leverage around job changes as well. But we use Apollo for this right now. I think there's a lot of other solutions that can give you a wider breadth potentially of signals. But it's part of the Apollo offering. It's a great way to get started. You can set up. They have a native job change signal functionality where they basically just look at the start date of a role. So you can do stuff like show me all the people that are in director level plus role in the product org in my ICP companies. So I know everybody who's new as a director of product at ICP companies. So that's kind of covers the play of reaching out at the right time to try to position yourself as a partner to that new decision maker reaching their objectives. Another play that we're running with job changes where we're seeing a lot of momentum and a lot of results from is reaching out to previous users, champions, influencers, or decision makers that had left a company that was a customer of Chameleon's and are now at an ICP company again. Hey, you use Chameleon and you drove these results at your previous company. You want to try to replicate that at your new employer. And that's probably one of our highest performing campaigns in terms of response rate, in terms of meetings booked. It's also a signal that you can leverage to identify churn risk.
Correct.
If your champion, your decision maker, your economic buyer leaves the company, you've got to quickly build a relationship with their replacement or somebody else in the organization to make sure that there's somebody championing your solution internally. When the CFO comes and says who's using this and what ROI are you getting out of it? If everybody's oh, well, John used to take care of that. I don't know any other results. You're guaranteed to have churn or to get a cancellation notice. So yeah, I think job changes from a champion or a decision maker are kind of twofold. It's a two-sided opportunity. It's who do I need to build a relationship and replace that relationship with at my customer account? And the champion that I just left, do you want to refer me to anybody in your network, or do you want to try to bring me in to your new employer as the solution for product adoption? So I think, yeah, those are probably like the three main plays that we're leveraging job signals for at the moment.
I have one play to add. So I was talking to an SDR lady. She found it in a very interesting way. So I was literally surprised you can do that. So what she's doing is not champion. I mean, obviously champion, previous user, and your all the good things, but whoever going to Salesforce, seeing whoever has attended your demo. Like not actually the account, whoever is the target person, but around that, whoever they have an exposure to your brand, right? And the list suddenly goes a lot. And she was like, I'm booking a lot of demo just by scanning who were there in the meeting and actually creating a list. And they have a sort of a brand exposure, again, a new play for them. Maybe it's not like you have used it, but it's like you're there. We had a talk, great demo, and you have gone to a new company. And then why not, right? So I was like, okay, this is an interesting play.
I love it. You're giving me ideas to expand the playbook. We were focusing on like, who do we have a strong relationship with? But you're right. If they had exposure to the brand or the product in itself or the results that the product drove, then they may be a silent champion, essentially.
Yes. So not the accounts won, but accounts lost also is an opportunity because guess what? They have a brand exposure.
Great. All right. So Jay, could you help us understand what is Chameleon?
Absolutely. Chameleon is a digital adoption platform. So essentially, it is a software that sits on top of your software and allows you to build in-app experiences without code. So think of like getting started checklists, product tours, tooltips, in-app microsurveys that are triggered by users taking actions in your survey so you can get feedback in context.
Got it. Great. And who is this relevant for? Like, what is your target audience? Or who is the ideal user or buyer for Chameleon?
Great question. We have a pretty broad TAM. We sell basically to anybody who is in the SaaS space that has a web-based application. Typically in B2B, we have some B2C brands as well. For the most part, we work in the product org, so it's typically the head of product or one of the product managers that owns activation and LTV and retention of the user base. We work a lot with growth teams as well, and we're starting to see a lot more like scaled or digital customer success departments being spun up. Or, I used to see a lot of lifecycle marketing in companies with larger user bases. So those are typically the departments or the stakeholders that we're working with.
Got it. And lastly, I would love to learn, you being head of growth, what growth channels are working best for you? Maybe the top 3 growth channels for you.
Yeah, great question. Number 1 is organic inbound, actually. We've had a great team of copywriters and a lot of content on our website. It's driving a substantial amount of traffic. More than 300 blog posts, on-demand webinars, really extensive library of resources such as glossaries, inspiration gallery. So organic is probably the I would say the main source of traffic and of meetings booked. We drive a substantial amount of pipeline through sales-led activities. I guess the main source is probably warm outbound or signal-based nurturing. A little bit of cold outbound from our BDR standpoint, a more targeted, personalized ABM approach to top-tier target accounts. And then a mix of ton of other things, a little bit of PPC, paid ads on Google and LinkedIn. We've been experimenting in the last year with live events, just inviting heads of product or experienced product managers to come for dinner and speak with like-minded people in large cities in the US, and we're seeing a lot of pipeline and awareness coming from that as well, and just continuously experimenting, I guess, with our mix of acquisition tactics and strategies.
Awesome catching up with you, Jay, and have a great day, and look forward to catching up with you soon.
Yeah,
Likewise, you two guys, happy to do this anytime. I had a blast. Thanks for inviting me.